On September the 21st, a man named Adam Minter made a discovery that would follow him for the rest of his life and start the longest unsolved child murder case in the history of the London police. It was a lonely walk that Aiden took that September. Only 10 days prior, 2 airplanes had hit the World Trade Center. The shock of that day left many people reeling, and the streets of London stayed empty. Aiden was on his way to a meeting that morning when he spotted something floating in the River Thames, right under the Tower Bridge. All he could make out was a small human form and something bright orange. As he would later tell the police, his first thought was that it was a mannequin. It was only after the object had passed along under the bridge that he saw what it really was: the mutilated torso of a small child. He immediately called the police, who were able to recover the body out of the water. Police officers checked every missing child's case, but none of them matched up with the little boy. Because they couldn't identify him, they did something they had never done before. Instead of giving him the common identified person monger John Doe, they named him Adam, a name that he would carry to this day. Immediately he was brought to forensics. What they would find would shock all of London. The little boy had only been between 4 and 7 years old. He had been in the water for up to 10 days, which led detectives to believe that his murderer had used the chaos following the terroristic attacks in New York to get rid of his body. Adam's arms and legs, along with his head, had been expertly cut off his body. To this day, neither his limbs nor his head have ever been found. The coroner believed his death was caused by trauma to the neck, or, in plain English, he had his throat cut. He had been well fed, and they found traces of cough syrup in his stomach. But it was what else they found in his stomach that would turn the whole investigation on its head. Not only did they find pollen, only local in Africa, which led them to believe Adam had only been in England for a short while, they also found traces of gold, quartz, an African bean called calabar, and the seed of the datura plant. The calabar bean is often used in West African witchcraft ceremonies, and causes whoever takes it to become paralyzed. While the dosage found in Adam's body left him unable to move, it did not prevent him from the pain he had to endure. The datura seeds can cause hallucinations. This, along with the quartz, gold, and some clay, led experts to believe that Adam had been the victim of a ritualistic killing. At first they believed Adam had been used in a muti killing, found in southern Africa. In these killings, the victim's body parts are used as medicine. This quote-unquote medicine is given to paying clients if they, for example, want to secure a business deal. So it's supposed to work as a good luck charm, if you will, not really a medicine. But other experts came to a conclusion that seemed to be more fitting with what happened to Adam, or to be more precise, where he was found. They believed he was used as a human sacrifice to the goddess Oshun, a goddess usually associated with fertility and water. This form of worship is a twisted version of the Yoruba belief system, which hails in Nigeria, the place where forensic experts believed Adam was born and lived most of his short life in. The only other key piece of evidence they had was the pair of bright orange pants. The pants were free of any blood, so police assumed that they had been placed on Adam after he was killed. They also weren't shorts made for boys, but rather girls. This information is going to become important later. This particular pair of pants was from a brand that only sold their clothing in a few small stores in Germany. Police now believed Adam had been smuggled into the UK via Germany. This information wouldn't help them until nearly a year later. At this point, police were stuck. Even though a £50,000 reward for any information concerning Adam was offered, no one came forward. So in April 2002, the police decided to go to Africa to talk to the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. It was him that made the following plea for Adam's family to come forward. Scotland Yard informs me that early indications of the investigations are that the boy comes from somewhere in Africa. So if anywhere, even in the remotest villages of our continent, there is a family missing a son of that age, who might have disappeared around that time, please contact the police. But his plea would remain unanswered. No one came forward with any information concerning the little boy. It wasn't until 3 months later that they would finally get a breakthrough in Adam's case. Not in Africa, but in Glasgow. Council workers had found ritualistic objects in an African woman's home when they did a welfare check on the woman's 2 daughters. The council was worried about the 2 little girls and ordered a court hearing to take the children into their custody. The woman's name was Joyce Osagide. She told the judge about cults, killings, and human sacrifices. This story concerned a police officer enough to call it into the homicide unit in London. They searched the woman's apartment and were shocked by what they found. More clothes from the same company that made Adam's shorts. And even more concerning, they were all in the exact same size that Adam had been wearing. Officers immediately questioned the woman, but she kept changing her story multiple times, pretending to act confused and denied knowing anything about Adam, so they had to let her go. She was deported in November back to Nigeria, and detectives tried to get information out of her until the last moment, even flying back with her to Nigeria, but she didn't tell them anything. They had barely made it back to England when they got a call from German police. They informed them that Joyce had in fact lived in Hamburg until late 2001, the town where the shorts that Adam wore had been bought. But by this time it was already too late, and Joyce had disappeared off the radar. It was late 2002 when the officers working on Adam's case made another breakthrough. A breakthrough made with Joyce's unwilling help. When they first arrested her and questioned her, she had a phone on her, and police kept that phone. She had only 2 contacts saved in that phone. One of those belonged to a man named Kingsley Ocho. When they searched his house, they found jars filled with different kinds of earth and clay, along with liquid potion and an animal skull that had been pierced with a nail. While they couldn't link him to Adam's death, they could prove that he was part of a group of criminals that smuggled people from Africa into the UK. In 2004, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison, along with a recommendation to deport him following his release. While in prison, he is said to have performed juju rituals for other inmates. In December 2006, Adam was buried in an unmarked grave. The only mourners at his funeral were the people that worked on his case. After Kingsley Ojo was released and awaiting his deportation, he actually called the investigators who worked on Adam's case and offered to help them. He told them he wanted to clear his name. While he did give them lots of information, most of it turned out to be nothing more than a wild goose chase. In 2008, after it was discovered that he had committed benefit fraud, he was deported back to Nigeria. Joyce, meanwhile, turned back up on the radar in Nigeria and was interviewed by the police. It was only now that she finally admitted to not only knowing Adam, but also looking after him while living in Hamburg. And she also told police that it was in fact her that got him those orange shorts. But after that interview, she vanished again. It wasn't the police that would make the next headway in Adam's case, but the BBC. They found a woman in Hamburg who knew Joyce, a social worker by the name of Ria Mattes. The BBC interviewed her, and she told them that she remembered seeing Joyce with a little boy twice in the summer of 2001. I will read to you what she said about the little boy now, because this is the only description we have of what he was like when he was alive. And because the dates fit, it's very likely that she really saw Adam. For me, he was very shy, albeit an attentive child. He was completely introverted and withdrawn. He remained in one spot and didn't move. She also described how Joyce treated him. She said Joyce acted like he was nothing more than a necessary evil to her, but that she never let him out of her side. Not because she cared, but more like she was always scared he would disappear. In 2011, and with no new leads, police searched through stuff belonging to Joyce that was left with a friend in Hamburg. Among her things, they found a picture of a little boy. The child is about 5 years old, and the picture was taken in 2001. ITV News actually managed to track down Joyce in Nigeria and showed her that photo. Joyce told them that the boy in the picture was in fact Adam, and his real name was, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna spell that right, Ikpomvoza, a statement that she and her brother would retract only a year later. She now claimed the boy in the picture wasn't Adam, but another boy that lived in Hamburg. At this time, she was actually telling the truth. The boy in the picture wasn't Adam. She did, however, claim that Adam's real name was Patrick Erhabor, a claim that couldn't be verified to this day. When she talked to the BBC, she was shown another picture, and she immediately recognized the man in it. She told the reporter that this was the guy she gave Adam to. The man in the picture was Kingsley Ojo, who, to this day, still denies having anything to do with Adam's murder. Joyce is now dead, and with her, the only real link to Adam's true identity, or that of his murderer. This case is now more than 20 years old, and no new discoveries have been made. Adam still lays in his unmarked grave, and his killer or killers are very likely still walking the streets, free men and women. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget